I've been using the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic for a few weeks now, and I wanted to share some of the pros and cons I've found in my time with this watch. And I think we should start with battery life because that's probably what most of you are curious about. Fortunately, the battery life has been pretty solid. If I have the always on display disabled, and when I say always on display, I'm referring to how the watch face is always shown. So like right now it's like a darker watch face, but if I push the button, you'll see that it's like the normal watch face. So that's what I'm referring to when I say always on display. If that's off, I can consistently get 2 days of battery life, and that includes at least an hour of workout tracking and 2 nights of sleep tracking. When I enable the always on display, my battery life drops to about a day and 13-ish hours, so about a day and a half of battery life. That also includes an hour of workout tracking and only 1 night of sleep tracking. So regardless of how you use the Galaxy Watch 8, you should easily be able to get over a day of battery life, unless you're doing something like tracking like a 6-hour hike or something like that. And also having the always on display enabled. I think if you did that, you might not make it through a full day. So in my opinion, I'd say that's pretty good battery life. I know there's other watches out there that can get 3, 4, maybe even a week long of battery life, but many of them are also much thicker than the Galaxy Watch. Either that or they're significantly more expensive, or they may be missing some features that the Galaxy Watch has. Regardless, let me know if you think this is enough battery life in the comments down below. When it comes time to charge the Galaxy Watch 8, if you put it on a charger after it's completely dead, like you ran it until it shut itself completely off, then start charging it, about 30 minutes of charging is going to get you roughly 40% of battery back, and 100% is going to take just over 80 minutes. If you're curious how that compares to the smaller Galaxy Watch 8, the 40mm specifically, which does have a notably smaller battery and less battery life, the Watch 8 Classic takes about 10 more minutes to get to 50% and about 12 to 15 minutes more to get to 100%. And by the way, I've already uploaded a dedicated 1-week review video for the Galaxy Watch 8, and I'll have that linked in the description if you're interested. I want to take a minute to talk about the design of the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, because when I first saw the original images of it from Samsung, I wasn't a big fan of that squircle design. But seeing it in person, it actually does look way better, and I do actually really love the design mostly. After having used the watch for a little bit, there is one thing that I'd really like to change. And specifically, it's the screen size I'd like to change, because right now, the screen size on the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, which only comes in one size, is the same size as the smaller Galaxy Watch 8, the 40mm Galaxy Watch 8. So something that I would change is get rid of that black bezel with the numbering around it and just fill that space in with screen. Because that section doesn't do anything, it's just an aesthetic piece. And there's tons of watch faces that have that sort of design built into them already, so it ends up being redundant. But let me know how you guys would feel about that in the comments down below. Do you like that physical number kind of bezel section, or would you rather have that be more screen too? Another positive thing with this new style is this new rotating bezel. It is so much nicer than the bezel on the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic. Part of it is because of the knurling on the side. It just lets you rotate the bezel really easily with just a single finger. You could do it with a single finger on the Watch 6 Classic, it just wasn't as easy. The Watch 8 Classic's bezel also has a really satisfying click as you rotate it around. And while the watch bands connect with a new proprietary method that don't work with any of Samsung's other Galaxy watches, we can at least officially buy adapters on Amazon so that we could use any traditional 22mm watch band. The new quick button is nice for quickly starting exercises, and you can even do things like control a stopwatch, turn on and off a flashlight, enable waterlock mode, open up the camera controller, or start a voice recording. But what's missing is the ability to open up any application on your watch. Hopefully Samsung adds that option in a future update, but it's currently not available. I also tested the workout accuracy of the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic compared to the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic, and I tried it a few different ways. I tried having one watch on each arm and doing the workout that way. Then I tried switching arms and then just having one on at a time, just to really get a good idea of the differences in the tracking capabilities. And the results were kind of a mixed bag, and the reason for that is because I was using a boxing workout, like as a VR boxing workout to test this, and in those workouts you're throwing a lot of punches, and when you do that, the Galaxy Watch is going to slide forward and back on the wrist like this, so you have to have it really, really tight on the wrist so it doesn't do that. Otherwise, it's going to start missing where your heart rate is, and if you suddenly get into an intense part of the workout and your heart rate jumps quickly, it sometimes doesn't catch that. And that was true with both the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic and the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic. But when it comes to more normal workouts, when you're not throwing your fists everywhere, it does do an excellent job of continually tracking my heart rate and keeping up with quick elevations and drops in heart rate. So bottom line, if you have a Watch 6 Classic and you're hoping to get much better exercise tracking with a Watch 8 Classic, that probably won't be the reason to upgrade. But something I did notice with the Watch 8 Classic is that it is more comfortable to wear than the Watch 6 Classic. And part of that is because the Watch 8 Classic sits a lot more flush to your skin. Like, it's a lot flatter here at the bottom where it makes contact with my wrist. And I also just really like this band material because this feels like leather on the outside, but when you look at the inside of the watch band, it's actually like a soft rubbery type material. So it grips your wrist really well, but it's not abrasive either. So all of that put together makes this super comfortable to wear throughout the day. And even wearing it to sleep at night, it's more comfortable than previous generations of Galaxy watches. But it's still not quite as comfortable as the smaller Galaxy Watch 8. And that's just because it's a smaller watch, right? It's just a smaller footprint on your wrist. So obviously it's going to be a bit more comfortable. And actually, while we're talking about sleep tracking, I do want to talk about an issue that I found with both the Galaxy Watch 8 and the regular Galaxy Watch 8. And it specifically has to do with what happens when you slack your treat. Let's try that again. And actually, while we're talking about sleep tracking, I do want to mention an issue that I found with both the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic and the regular Galaxy Watch 8, specifically with sleep tracking. So when sleep tracking is enabled, whether you do it manually or the watch does it itself when it detects that you're asleep, it disables some features on your watch. Specifically, it'll disable the always on display, the raise your wrist to wake feature, right, where you turn your wrist and the screen turns on, that'll also be disabled. And it also disables the turn your bezel to turn the screen on as well. But the problem is that older generations of the Galaxy Watch would re-enable all of those features when you woke up in the morning. The Watch 8 Classic and the Watch 8 don't do that. So this is clearly a bug in Samsung software because this has always worked well on previous generations for years. And so we got to just wait for an update for Samsung to fix that. And in the meantime, you're just kind of stuck re-enabling those features in the morning after you've done some sleep tracking. Now, there is a way to do this automatically with the Modes and Routines application, and you basically just create a routine where when you wake up in the morning, it automatically enables your always on display, enables the raise your wrist to wake feature, and also re-enables the rotate bezel to wake feature as well. So while you can use that as a workaround for now, hopefully Samsung pushes a legitimate update soon to fix it. Now let's talk about the new health features and how well they're working. And one of the highlight new features is the Antioxidant Index. And at first I thought, I'm not really sure if this is going to work too well, but I made some really conscious health changes on the food I was taking in to increase my antioxidants intake by like a significant margin, like 3 to 5xing it. And that's not a like, whoa, that's a lot of antioxidants. No, I was having like barely any. So it's basically just adding what I'm supposed to have into my diet. And I did actually see a change in the antioxidant index by doing that. And then when I stopped eating like that, I stopped adding in all those antioxidants, I did see it actually drop back down. So based on my actual diet, it does seem to be tracking correctly. And I think it's also worth pointing out that I didn't track any of that intake in the Samsung Health application because you can log all of your food in there. So I know it wasn't the watch just looking at the log of food and saying, oh, look, he ate more antioxidant-rich foods. Let's just increase the number. Had nothing to do with that. It was actually measuring correctly. Something that doesn't seem to be measuring correctly is the Advanced Glycation End Products Index, or AGE's index for short. And this is basically just a measurement of how fast your body's aging. But if you look at my results here, it shows that, yep, you're aging pretty quick. And then the very next day, actually, you're aging very slowly. And then the next day, oh, wait, you're aging quick again. And there's a few of these where it just kind of goes up and down really quickly. And there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason for it. And the entire chart, like where it says adequate here and then this chart of numbers here, has actually shifted dramatically for me from when I had the Galaxy Watch 7. Like, it was always high in like the yellow to orange level for me. And suddenly when I got the Galaxy Watch 8, all of my previous results, like if I go back here, all of my previous results dropped significantly down into like the green and orange zone. So I don't know if Samsung got a bunch of new data and they're like, whoops, all our levels were off and we have to adjust it, or maybe they adjusted the range. I'm honestly not sure, but there's enough weird stuff going on with the AGE's index right now that I don't really trust it. And let me know in the comments below if you're experiencing a similar issue, even with something like a Galaxy Watch 7. Real quick, after about 10 years, I finally have some merchandise. So if you guys like this Level Up t-shirt, or you guys like this black on black logo hat, or you're interested in a Level Up book for keeping track of your goals or your to-do list, I'll have links to all of them in the description and a pinned comment below. Vascular load is another new measurement with the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, and it's a bit of an interesting one. So if you look at my results here, it says that it's steady. That doesn't mean that I have a good vascular load, it just means that it's not changing. It's not getting better or worse in that particular day. And if I scroll down a little bit, you can see that it's based off of my exercise, my sleep habits, and my stress levels. And it's obviously monitoring heart rate as well, and kind of using all of these things together to determine vascular load. So simply put, if you look at your vascular load and you're like, oh, it's steady, I'm fine, I don't need to do anything, I don't need to work out, I don't need to whatever, like that's not what that means. You might still need to start working out, making sure you get better sleep, making sure you're reducing your stress levels, and it's always important to consult your doctor to figure out what you should do with your health. But this can at least serve as a guide to tell you which direction you're trending. Something else I've really loved on the Watch 8 Classic is the new tiles. Those work way better than the previous generation of the tiles. And it's because you can have multiple different panels within a single tile. And those panels can be from any category you want. That means you could have a fitness panel, a smart things panel, a weather panel, and whatever else you want, all in the same tile. And this truly is so much more useful than the original style of tiles. And the new user interface, just generally speaking, does look incredible. I like the way that the new notifications are, where they stack and you can just swipe through them instead of having to tap them. The Watch 8 Classic does also have a newer processor than the Watch 6 Classic, so it is going to perform a bit faster and be a bit smoother overall. Having Gemini on the Galaxy Watch has also been incredible. This is so much better than Google Assistant or Bixby because you can ask way more specific stuff. Like if you have some things in your refrigerator and you're like, hey, I have these ingredients, what can I make for dinner with it? It'll give you a recipe. Then you can ask it to save that recipe to a note and it'll save it to your Google Keep Notes. Now, unfortunately, there's no integration to Samsung Notes yet, but I have a feeling that's coming in the future because if you use a Samsung phone, like a Galaxy Z Fold 7, for example, Gemini can save the recipe to Samsung Notes. So you're probably wondering if I recommend upgrading to the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic from the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic, and that really depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking for the new software features, like the new tiles, for example, then I'd say no, that's not a reason to upgrade because the Watch 6 Classic should be getting that in an update pretty soon. And if you're coming from the larger version of the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic, you're also going to be losing a bit of screen size going to the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. And if you wanted better exercise tracking, well, you're not going to get that either. I mean, it might be a little bit better, but not enough that I could tell the difference. I'd say the Watch 8 Classic is only worth the upgrade from the Watch 6 Classic if you really like the style, you think you'll get a lot of use out of the new quick button, you want something that's a bit more comfortable, you want the new health tracking features like the Vascular Load, Antioxidant Index, and AGE's Index, you want something that's a bit faster, and you want to take advantage of my limited time exclusive bonus discounts by using my affiliate links in the description and pinned comment. And since those are affiliate links, it does help out the channel when you use them, and I actually wouldn't be able to afford to purchase all the products I review on this channel without you guys using those links, so I just want to say a huge thanks to everyone who's been using the links. If you're still on the fence with the Watch 8 Classic, and you want to see more of a deep dive with how it compares to the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic, you could check out this video here. Or if you're actually curious about the Galaxy Watch 8 and how that compares to the Galaxy Watch 7, you could check out this video instead. That's it for this tech episode. Jesus loves you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.